Hello and welcome. Let's begin. I have Visual Edge for Smalltalk open and I have two windows, System Transcript and Workspace. System Transcript, very important window, which has a lot of commands available from the menu. So often we will go and execute different commands directly from the System Transcript. And another thing, System Transcript is used to notify you about something important. So when system want to tell you something, it will print right here in the window, but just for your information. Okay, now let's begin. So we are talking about Smalltalk now, Smalltalk and objects. And we are saying, well, everything in Smalltalk, well, objects. Well, but how can we create an object? Take a look. What if I print 5 on my workspace? Well, is it an object? Yes, it is. But how can we check it? Take a look. If I select it and right-click, inspect it. So what is happening right now? I have selected something on the workspace, and I'm calling an inspector on it. I'm saying, well, I want to inspect these things. What is this? So I click inspect and see what I got here. A new window, and we can say 5 here, and title is very important. It says small integer inspector. So basically we're inspecting a small integer object. Take a look, small integer, what is that? Well, this is actually a name of the class who generated that object. So we can say 5, it is an instance of class small integer. It is an object generated by that class. And that's very important. Okay, so first we want to see who actually created our object. So our object, that particular object, an instance of class small integer. Good. Now, what if I have something like this on my workspace? And again, I'm very curious, what is that? So I don't have to think much. I just select it, or I can use right-click inspect, or thank you to Instantination guys, they make a very nice menus right here. So inspect. I click on this, and I have an inspector. So what do we see here? Our character is here. Right, and title saying character inspector, which means our object, it is an instance of class character. Character, it is a class who created that object. Great, and we have some additional information about that specific object. So code, lowercase, uppercase, and so on. Okay, great. Now, how about this? Take a look. We have a bunch of characters together and simple quotation marks. Well, I want to inspect this. What do I do? Another way to inspect an object, put a cursor and then click inspect. Take a look. What do we have? Well, first of all, our object is here. Right, and this is what? Instance of class string. So this is basically a string object. Well, and string, it is what? String, it is a collection of characters, right? So take a look. If we browse this left panel, we can see all our objects, all our characters inside here. Like a first character is character T, second that, and so on. Well, very handy, don't you think? So inspector, excellent tool which allows us to investigate objects very easily. Now, what if I type something like this and I want to inspect this? Well, same technique. I select an object and click inspect. And what do we see here? Well, it is an object, it is an instance of class symbol. And symbol is kind of a label, unique label, which we can associate with different objects. We'll be talking about this a lot. And another thing, what we might to inspect here is this. See, it's some words in double quotation marks. So if we inspect this, this is an instance of undefined object. What does it mean? Well, this how we represent commas in Smalltalk, something what will be ignored by compiler. So basically, this is a comments for the developer. Okay, great. And as you can see, it is an object as well. So it's an instance of undefined object. So it says nil. And nil in Smalltalk, it means nothing. So basically, this is how we represent nothing. So in C, we're probably familiar with null. So same equivalent here. But with a big difference, it is an object, and we actually can interact with this, right? Now take a look at this. True and false, Boolean objects. So let's try to inspect them. We select it and inspect. Here's our object, and it is an instance of true class. Take a look, big difference. True class start, as all classes, start with a capital character. True, our object, instance of this class, starts with lowercase. So again, this is an instance of class true. Class true, it is a class who generated true object. Okay? And same with false. If we inspect this, so false, it is an instance of class false. See, capital F, false. So another object which represent false object in Smalltalk. Take a look at this. Another easy way to create object in Smalltalk. So if we type something like this and inspect it, this is a float object. Yeah, 2 exponent to 1, so it's actually 20. And this guy, well, let's see. Yeah, it's a float object minus 0.1. Great. Take a look at this, fraction objects. If we inspect this, so we have a fraction object. This is a way how Smalltalk can keep fraction. Say we have numerator and denominator, and we keep them, well, without losing any numbers after digital points. Yeah, same here. Yeah. Well, and we are saying that Smalltalk, it is a land of alive objects. What does it mean, alive? That means that any object we have created, it's actually like a live entity, and we can interact with this. How? We can send messages to objects. So, and this is actually how objects communicate with each other, by sending and receiving messages. But how can we do that? Why don't we try? Take a look. 5 factorial. So what do we see here? Well, we can see an object here, right? So if we inspect, yes, it is a small integer. Great. And factorial, it is a message what we do send to our object. Take a look. We specified an object and then we send a message to it. Okay, great. So message, it's like a request, like a command to do something. So basically this message will require our receiver, our 5 object who received the message, calculate factorial of itself. So why don't we execute it? And take a look. If we do right click, we have several options here. Execute. Execute means just execute the code. Display. Execute the code and see the result, what we are getting back from our message. In Smalltalk, every time when we send a message, we always getting something back. Always. It's like a very polite communication. So we send the message, we're getting an object back. Great. So, and if we want to take a look at this object, we can click on display. Again, it will execute the code and show us the object which is coming back. Great. But if we want more details on the object what we are getting back, we can use inspect. Again, it's execute the code, selected code, and open a new inspector, new window on the object what we are getting from this execution. All right. So why don't we try display? Take a look. What do we see here? So we send message factorial to 5, and we are getting 120 back. And what is this? It's actually a factorial of 5. Everything seems to work absolutely right. Great. Now, once again, we have an object and we send message to it. Now, in Smalltalk, there is a very important word, and this word is a receiver. And receiver actually is a general name for an object who received a message. So in our case, 5, it is a receiver of message factorial. So we send message factorial to 5, yeah. So we can call 5 a receiver. Okay, great. Now, how would you understand this code? So again, we have an object and we send a message to this object. And who's the receiver here? Small integer 6. Well, if I'm not sure, anytime I can inspect it. Yeah, small integer 6, great. Now I send this message to our object and I want to see the result. So I click display. Yeah, factorial of 6, 720. Great. Now, 720, this is an object what we are getting from that message. But what if I need more details? What I want to see, instance of what class this guy is. So, very easy. We click inspect. Take a look. Our code was executed and we get a new inspector which actually holds an object which we received from factorial message. And as you can see, it is an instance of class small integer. Okay, great. What do you think about this? Who is the receiver and what do we send? Well, receiver is the most left standing object, which is, in our case, 2. And this is what? Small integer. Great. And what message do we send to it? SQRT. Okay, so we want to calculate square root of 2. Okay, why don't we try? And I want to see the result. I click display. Excellent, everything seems to work. We are getting a square root of our receiver. Great. But let's say I want to see more details on the object what we are getting back from the message. How? Easy. I click inspect. And inspect will execute the code and open the result in new inspector. So this is our result, which is happen to be an instance of class float. And make perfect sense, right? Because square root. So when you calculate a square root, it's not an integer number. It is a decimal number, a number with digital decimal point. How about this? So who's the receiver? Small integer 3. Yep. And what do we send? Squared. Okay. Why don't we try it? And I want to see the result. Click display. Yep. Works perfectly fine. Okay, this kind of messages in Smalltalk we call Unary message. Why Unary? Because only one object involved. Take a look, we have one object and we send a message to it. Unary message. There is another kind of messages in Smalltalk, binary. Binary when 2 objects are involved. Take a look, simple example. 5 plus 3. Very simple. But in terms of objects, what is happening here? So who's the receiver here? Well, most left-standing objects, small integer 5. What message do we send? We send message plus to it. And what do we pass as a parameter? We pass 3 as a parameter. And what do we get from this? Let's see. 8. Yeah, of course. Again, we send message plus to small integer 5. And we passed 3 as a parameter. And 5 in this case we can call a receiver because it is an object who receiving a message. How about this? Again, in terms of objects, small integer 5 receive a message minus, and this message takes 3 as a parameter, and the result will be 2. Great. Same here. Receiver is 5, message multiply 3 as a parameter, and we're getting 15. How about this? Well, it's very simple, right? 5 receive a message, divide, and we pass 3 as a parameter. But what do we expect to get back from that message? So if we execute it and display the result, and a number with a digital points, Okay, let's see. Wow, we received something else, and we're not really sure what is that. But if we inspect it, okay, we can see it is an instance of class fraction. So Smalltalk is smart enough to keep this in this form without losing anything. Great. Another example. Take a look. That will give us integer portion of quotient. So why don't we see it? Yeah, exactly, 1. And this guy, reminder. Yeah, 2. Perfect. And once again, since 2 objects are involved, we call it binary messages. And last kind of messages in Smalltalk, keyword. Take a look. What is happening here? We have an object here, and we send message max column. And max column, it is a keyword which takes a parameter. Well, so again, we send a message to 5 and we pass 3 as a parameter. And what do you think that will do? What should we get from message max column? Well, why don't we try to execute it? So we are getting 5. So we have 2 objects involved, right? So we have one keyed message, and we're getting 5. And message is max column. Well, probably that return max between a receiver, which is 5, and a parameter. Why don't we try to investigate it? Now I send the same message to 5, but I pass a different parameter. So, and let's see what we'll get. Yeah, we received 6, which is because 6 is bigger than 5 right now. So our parameter happened to be bigger than our receiver. So once again, this is a keyword message. A message which has a column at the end, we call keyword. How about this? What do you think is happening here? Who is the receiver? Well, I would think this guy, most left standing object. All right, so and who is this? Float, instance of class float. Okay, good. Now, what do we send? We send round to column message. Great. What kind of message is this? Keyword, right? We have a column at the end. All right. And column, in like a natural language, if we have a column, so something is following, right? And same in here. So this parameter followed. So again, we send message round to column to our receiver, which is this guy, and we pass another object as a parameter. Okay, so let's see the result. 5.62. Okay, so we rounded our receiver accordingly with our parameter. Well, great. What do you think about this one? Who is the receiver? Small integer 5. What do we send? Raised to column. And what do we pass as a parameter? 4. What shall we get? Let's see. Yeah, 625. Make perfect sense. Another example. Who's the receiver? Well, this guy. And this guy happened to be what? A string object, an instance of class string. Great. And what do we send? And now, please listen carefully. We send only one message. Copy from column to column. This is one message which takes 2 parameters. Again, we send message copy from column to column to string hello, and we pass 2 parameters along with this message. Okay, with the keyed messages, we can send many parameters. Well, if they design to take many parameters. Now, let's read this. So we're talking to string, and we say we want to copy from your second characters to 4th. So basically, we're saying we need a subset of you, character number 2, 3, and 4. Okay, and what do you think we shall get from this? Let's see. Well, we're getting what? If we inspect it, it is a string which has 3 characters, ELL. And take a look, ELL, it happened to be characters number 2, 3, and 4 in our receiver, in our string hello. Okay, great. Well, we talk about 3 different kind of messages in Smalltalk. And what the priority, who will be executed first, who, and so on. So first, with the highest priority, will be executed Unary messages. Here's an example. And lowest priority for keyword messages. All right, why don't we try to experiment? What do you think that will do? How that will work, and what result can we get from this code? All right, so we have a free most left standing object, and we send message plus to it, but plus is a keyword, binary message, so it's not a highest priority message. What do you think will be executed first? Well, actually, that message will be sent first, because it is a highest priority message. So this part will be executed first, and we will get 9 from this. And then 3 plus 9 should give us 12. Let's see. Yes, it is. Okay. And what do you think about this? Well, this is most left standing object, and we send Unary message to it, so highest priority message. So no question, that will be executed first. And this will give us 9. Then plus, it is a binary message, so not a highest priority. So this part will go first. This will give us what? 16, and then to 16 we will send message as QWERTY. And as QWERTY should give us 4 again. Yeah, we're getting 4 again, but it will be a float object, instance of class float. Okay, as a result we'll be having 4 plus 9. Okay, let's see. Yep, we're getting 13, which is an instance of class float. And how about this? Do you think that will change the result? Oh, absolutely. Because, well, statements in brackets will be executed first. So this part will be executed first. And that will give us 25. And then we send message sqrt to small integer 25. So result will be 5. So as you can see, brackets do change the order of execution. Take a look on this. What do you think will be the result of it? We have 3 objects, 2, 2, and 3. And we have 3 different kind of messages. We have keyed, we have binary, and we have Unary. And we know this is the highest priority, so that will go first. 6. Then this. That will give us 8. And the result will be 2 raised to column 8. 256. Perfect. Take a look on this line. What do you think is happening here? Well, beginning is very simple, right? We have a small integer 3, and we send message factorial to it. Unary message, highest priority, will be executed right away. Okay, and from this we're getting what? We're getting 6. Great, small integer 6. So basically, after execution of this first part, from message factorial, we're getting small integer 6, and then we send message squared to 6. Again, we send message squared to result of factorial, which is happen to be instance of class small integer 6. And the result will be what? 36. Make sure you understand that. So we have a receiver, we send the message, and from that message we are getting something, right? Remember we were saying that If we send a message, we're always getting something back. All right, so what did we receive from there? 6. Now we have 6 sitting right here, and now we are sending a new message squared to this result, to 6. And as a result, we are getting 36. Okay, that's what we call combining messages. All right. Now take a look on next slide. Well, transcript. This is a receiver, right? An object which actually represents system transcript. This window. Remember we were saying that in Smalltalk everything is objects. So in this windows as well. So we can programmatically interact with them. So what do I do here? I send a message to it. Message CR. And CR will simply command to go to the next line. Carriage return. And then I send another message, show column, to the same guy to transcript, which allow me to show this string in the system transcript. So once again, there is an object which actually system transcript, and we send 2 messages to it, CR, which is an Unary message, and then I send keyword message, show column, and I pass string hello as a parameter. What I want you to pay attention to, this semicolon. Semicolon, this is how we arrange a cascading messages. What does it mean? This is a way how we can send, several messages to the same object. Take a look. I sent CR to whom? To this guy. And since I put semicolon here, I will send show column exactly to the same object. Not to result which I get from CR. No, I kind of ignore it. I'm not interested in the result. I'm getting it back, but I'm not interested. Instead, I send message show column to transcript again. I'm saying I want to show this string on the system transcript. Okay, why don't we try to execute this? Well, and I will click execute. I don't really interested in return. I want to see execution result. Look, new line, empty line because of this. And then string hello appear on the system transcript. So what is important here? We send 2 messages to exactly the same guy because we use this. Right? This is a way how we arrange cascading messages. Several messages to the same guy. We use semicolon between messages. Okay.